Blog Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to World of Perspective Radio on Blog Talk Radio. My name is Elizabeth Alron and I am your host. If you look up the words used to name this show, you will find among many others a picture or view of something for the word perspective, a realm or domain or sphere of human activity or interest for the word world. And if you look up the word human, you find sympathetic, humane. When you put the elements together, to me, it says that a world of perspective is a sympathetic and humane view of the things that matter. When you join me, you'll always find the show taking a perspective of you that will potentially be inspiring, helpful, or illuminating. Does it mean you need to take it on as your own? Hardly. If it provides you fuel to continue going in the direction you've been going, great. If it gives you a new course of action to consider, also great. All I am desiring to do is give you some food for thought. The call-in number for the show is 347-324-5745. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to spending time with you. Hello and good evening. This is Elizabeth Alron, and welcome to my show this evening with Cindi Sansone-Braff. And I have a feeling this show is going to be more than a mouthful on many levels as I think about this. And as you can hear, Cindy's on the line. Either that or I have a split personality, but I'm pretty sure it's Cindi. Is that you?
Yeah, I'm laughing. Okay. I'm laughing.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I'm like, your book is a mouthful, and you say it so well. So
yes, I do. I say, it's Grant Me a Higher Love, How to Go from the Relationship from Hell to One That's Heaven Sent by Scaling the Ladder of Love. That's a big title. It's a big book. Love's a big topic.
Whew.
Talk about a soundbite, huh?
Yeah, so I'm glad you said it, because I was thinking, okay, I could say it, but I have a feeling my tongue was going to get twisted. So.
Yep, I know, it does, but it really is a big title, because I tried to pack a lot of things into the title, because love is big.
You know, I had a friend who was from Poland, and she told me over there they have like a lot of different words for the word love, and it actually helps them to understand better like what kind of love they're talking about. I thought it was interesting, because in this country we have love.
Right, and it's even in the Spanish culture too. You know, te quiero mucho is not saying I love you, it's saying I want you, I desire you. Do you know?
Oh, okay.
It's bigger, you know?
Yeah, I mean...
And it says a lot more. I didn't know when I learned that, and I used to say it when I worked in a restaurant years ago, and to the Spanish help, I didn't realize why they got so, I didn't know. I thought I was just saying, you know... Later on when I realized, I was saying more than just, you know, I love you.
That's great, Cindi. I could just see that, too.
Right, and so now I've learned it, you know, and, of course, you don't say that to your children. You say it a different way, So
I think it's great, too, because I think this topic of soulmates that you've tapped into and have written 574 pages on, I think, is basically a topic that's been pretty much, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but certainly not as, that there are not as many dimensions as you certainly have expressed. So I think that's pretty cool, because I think it helps when people have that added dimension.
It's very important. And the other day I was doing a children's party, which some of you don't know, but I'm also a children's entertainer. I only do it for my clients who call up and say, are you coming to the birthday party this year? And I go, no, I don't do that anymore. And the little kid gets on the phone and said, but you loved me and said you were going to come this year. So, of course, I had to do one on Valentine's Day. And she brought me over a book, and she said, could you read my book? And it was called, you know the book, Are You My Mother? We all remember that from when we were kids. Are you my mother? And the bird, you know, flies by itself and looks, you know, at a cow and asks, are you my mother? And the dog, are you my mother? And I realized it's like we could do, are you my soulmate? Because we're always going to every person, and we're expecting, you know, a cow to be our soulmate or, you know, a pig to be our soulmate, and we're not realizing that, you know, we have to kind of distinguish. What does that mean? Are you my soulmate?
Right.
And
so I mean, is there like a two-sentence thing you could say that what a soulmate is? I mean, I know you have
soulmate is any relationship, platonic, which is friendship, or romantic, which tends to bring out the very best in us and is based on unconditional love. Now, unconditional love is the kind of love that's a gift freely given with no strings attached. A gift freely given with no strings attached. It's not contingent on your behavior or my behavior. It's not like, I love you as long as you do what I want or what, It's a big difference. So it brings out the best in us, and we love this person unconditionally.
Yeah, that's certainly something I've been learning a lot about the last several years, because it kind of came from a whole different place, because everyone always thinks if you love me, then ... And, for everyone it's a little bit different, but, it always has had strings attached. But I've certainly learned that it doesn't have to look or be a certain way for the love to actually exist, and that's actually pretty powerful.
Right, and that you're going to grow within the context of that unconditional love. It doesn't mean you're going to take advantage of the person who loves you unconditionally. That means if you've got a drug addiction, you've got a problem, and, this person's going to love me no matter what I'm doing. No, it means I'm giving you the time and space to heal your issue, but I'm not enabling you. There's a big difference. So unconditional love is one of those things that people will sometimes throw in our face who are doing all kinds of things that are really unhealthy. But you're supposed to love me unconditionally.
All right.
But soulmate love is two things: bringing out the best in us. If somebody's still using drugs, that love is not bringing out the best in them. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So it's loving them unconditionally and bringing out the best.
And that's how you would define a soulmate.
That's how I would define it. And we briefly met. Remember, it wasn't a long time to meet. We just had a moment before you went to California.
I think it was 2 hours maybe? If
yes, and we bonded as soulmate friends, and we brought out the best in each other. You have been giving to me unconditionally. You have helped me in many, many ways, and I hope I've done the same for you. And we know how to be a soulmate friend often easier than we know how to be a soulmate lover. That's the sad part.
Well, I think, too, part of it is the dynamic in relationships, too, because, again, it's the training that you get, which is sort of an informal, passed along, that doesn't really work kind of training that, you just kind of get taught that you're supposed to be a certain way in a relationship and have certain expectations. So, I mean, wouldn't you say that was a lot of the why there's more of a problem?
We've seen a lot of dysfunction. We haven't had a lot of good role models growing up as to what constitutes a good relationship. I realized as a child I was always observing the world. That's part of a writer's mentality. You're in the moment, but you're always, part of you's above the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be watching my parents' horrible fights, or I'd be watching the dysfunctional relationships that I saw all around me, and kind of wondering, what's going on here? And I didn't realize, that they were trapped in this sort of anger that, was very prevalent when I grew up, because I grew up in the 50s and 60s. It was, just a shadow after World War II, and the fathers were quite shell-shocked. And, there was a lot of anger.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would watch it, and only one couple that I witnessed in my whole neighborhood growing up, and they didn't have any children, but all the children in the neighborhood gravitated to them because they really loved each other, heart, soul, mind, and body. And he would speak to her with kind words. And he would come home from work, and, she would hug him and kiss him, and I'd be like, whoa. And, it just seemed like a whole different animal than I saw. So I think God had given me this couple that really served as something in my heart and my mind to say, there is a higher love, there is a better love. And so I think if we've ever seen it, we won't forget it. And that's why soulmates are a beacon of light for the world to see. You're not supposed to hide out behind closed doors and not share that love. The universe will see it. People will see it.